Hello, and welcome to the Painted by Quarterly Slush Pile, where you've listened in to us today. Um, so the slush pile is the word for all the manuscripts that come in, and we get a lot of manuscripts, and sometimes they're so compelling that we choose to discuss them on air, as it were. So that's what the slush pile is about, and that's what we're going to do today. And we're happy to announce that we have the poems of Alyx Chandler for discussion. But first, we're going to go around the room and have everybody say hi so that you know our voices. I'm Kathleen Volk Miller, and I'm kicking it off. I'm kicking it up to Dagne.
Oh, thank you. Dagne Forest here, just outside of the capital of Canada, Ottawa. My husband just calculated that a pond we live nearby has lost 29,000 gallons of water. Just, lovely drought this year. So I thought I'd share that
Wow.
random math tip. Yeah, before I kick it down to Lisa.
Good morning, everybody. I am Lisa Zirkle, and I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, after spending a good bit of time in New York City. So I'm happy to be back in the South for a bit. And my news today is that I found a monarch butterfly caterpillar on a milkweed plant in my yard, and I have been feeding it extra milkweed. I brought it inside so it didn't get chomped by a bird, and he is now doubled in size, and I'm excited to see what happens next. And
What?
I will pass it over to Sam.
Hi, everyone. My name is Samantha Nukebauer, and I am here in Washington, D.C., controversial place at the moment. And my fun fact is that I killed three, um, what are they called? Lantern flies on the way to work today. So I took one for the team.
It's
Um,
harder than it looks.
it is.
It's
My
almost on the
exercise for
butterfly
the day,
theme.
my 8 months pregnant exercise. And I'm gonna send it up to Jason.
Hi, it's Jason. I'm in New York City, and I think Kathy and I both have exciting cover reveal announcements. And I think Dagne has some exciting publication information too.
Yeah. Thinking about that, Dagne, when you were talking, that I should have said author of. Dagne, about your book of poetry, because it's already been out for a wee minute. It's been out for a sec.
But Dagne, tell us about your chapbook.
I do have a second chapbook that got picked up this year. So it's been 2025. Personally, in that regard, it's been really nice because I had my first one come out, but a second one picked up by Whittle Micropress. It's coming out in fall 2026. It's called Falldown Lane.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. So you have your own website, right? Dagne Forest?
I do indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can get
.com.
the one
Yeah.
with the beautiful cover.
Congratulations, Dagne. That's wonderful news.
Oh, thank
Woo.
you. And Jason, thank you.
And
Yeah, I didn't
Jason,
know.
tell us about your book.
Yeah.
Well, Kathy and I, if anyone is teaching writing, you can teach writing through poetry if you get my title, and you can teach writing through journaling if you get Kathy's.
It's a
Yeah,
win-win.
yeah, for
And
Realm for
and
Two, they'll
where
be
could we,
available.
yeah, where can we find these fantastic books? Kathy, tell us.
You can pre-order on the Bloomsbury website. They're coming out from Bloomsbury Press. And I am editing a series. So if anybody listening in has cool ways of teaching and wants to hit me up and pitch a book on a cool way of teaching writing, I'd love to hear it.
Oh,
So you can join that
awesome.
family. Yeah.
And
And you know
congrats.
what?
Yeah.
I didn't know we were doing fun facts. I want to do an unsponsored plug. So Wana is a gummy brand, and I fell in love with them before I even knew they were woman owned. And then once they became woman owned, I like kind of stuck with them, right? I have sleeping issues, which most women do at a certain point of their lives, and mine have gotten so bad lately that I'm up about 3 hours every night. And it sucks because then I have to sleep later. Do you know what I mean? It's getting me, I really can't stand it anymore. So I got a gummy called Stay Asleep,
Oh, this could help.
8.5 hours. 8.5 hours. I don't 2 days in a row now. I almost feel like weird that I'm this awake. You know
You're
what I
too well
mean?
rested. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't yesterday. I was getting ready for my classes for next term, and I literally like every time I do listen to music, I think it's the ADHD. I listen to music while I'm working, and I had to keep getting up and dancing because I just had so much energy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
That's
WANA
amazing.
gummies, highly recommend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In the show
Um,
notes for sure.
yeah.
Yes, and
But
we'll be sure to put
now,
all those book links in the show notes too,
all
Slushies, so you
right,
can
that'll be
find
fun.
Dagny's chapbook and Kathy's book about journaling and Jason's book about teaching with poetry. And Sam will make sure we put something about lanternflies and why they need to be squished.
Yeah. First time I saw a lanternfly, I thought it was a butterfly. I'd never seen. I was like,
They're
wow.
very pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so pretty. Yeah. Okay, so back to Alyx Chandler and why we're here today. We're here to talk about poetry that we got permission to talk with you about. So what we do is we read them online, we read them aloud. You can go look at pbqmag.org and check them out in text as well. Um, okay, so let's get back to why we're here. We're here to discuss some terrific poetry by Alyx Chandler, and I'm going to voluntold Dagne to kick us off.
Oh, thank you. Well, I love the summer vibe. It's love affair with a sprinkler. I've only got so many days left to wet this face, to rouse enough growl to go back where I came from, to build a backbone hard as sheet metal from the engine of Dad's favorite truck, the one I can never remember, though it carried me everywhere I needed to go, and of course, where I didn't. Short shorts trespassing abandoned kudzu homes, scraped legs inching up water towers, creeping down stone church rooftops, girlhood, a fresh cut lawn where secrets coiled like a water hose stuck in kinks, spouting knots, writhing in grass, begging to spit at every pepper plant, sate all thirst. I want to drown, to be snake-hearted again, my stride full of spunk and gall, half naked in an embrace with the spray of irrigation jets, their cold drenching my kid body, good and sopping wet in hose water rivulets. Under its pressure, I shed regret, molt sunburn, squeal hallelujah in a hot spell. Such a sweet relief I'd somehow, after so many years, forgotten. Who wants to go run through the water?
I do feel like I have to add one note, being our representative from the South, just in case anyone is unfamiliar with kudzu, the vine that ate the South, that covers all the buildings and the electric poles, and you can see it on the side of the highway growing up everywhere. This very lush green vine that can cover an entire building. So that will place us in the very hot South in the summer.
That's
That's what a
important.
kudzu home is. A kudzu home is a home covered by that. Yeah.
Doesn't it grow in some like absurd amount, like it was like a foot an hour or something, or like a foot a day? Like it's some like absolutely unreal um
Well, it's like
growth
bamboo,
rate.
and in places across England, for a while there, garden stores were selling the wrong kinds of bamboo, and
Oh.
people were having their foundations wrecked and their
Mhm.
neighbors' foundations wrecked. Yeah, so
Yeah.
very similar, I think. Yeah, it just grows
Yeah.
like topsy.
Knotweed is our northern version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
knotweed. Gonna survive the apocalypse. We might not, but the knotweed and the kudzu will still be there.
And the lantern flies.
And the lantern flies. That'll be pretty. It'll be nice after the apocalypse, I guess, if anyone's there to see it. I love this really narrow line. Like I think that the way in which the kind of like, the sort of like 2 to 3 stress line kind of parses the syntax is really nice because they're very long sentences. And they're kind of I've only got so many days left to wet this face to rouse enough crowd to go back where I came from to build. I mean, it's really nice how the syntax kind of trickles forth, if that's
Mhm.
not too on the nose.
No, I agree. And it was in reading it that I became particularly aware of that, Jason.
Yeah.
So it's another opportunity to say, gosh, yeah, read poems aloud because you just experience them at a heightened level.
I love the sound in this poem. There's so many internal rhymes and slant rhymes throughout, and that's also something, Dagne, that I don't think becomes apparent unless you read it aloud. And
Mm,
then you
yeah,
can hear it.
yeah, yeah, it highlights it much more.
It does evoke a very particular time of life when you feel kind of invincible. Um, as a kid, just enjoying the summer as a particular time of freedom, um, and just reveling, I guess, in the heat and cooling off and the pleasures of childhood in that way. Um, I read a few years ago Melissa Febos's book called Girlhood, and it's just fantastic. And it talks about this kind of um, heightened power that girls experience before they hit puberty. They're like
Mm.
into their stride of power and owning their body and strength, and then it tends to all crumble down. But it feels like to me this poem is uh before that has happened, where
That,
the protagonist is still enjoying herself.
Well, I think,
wow.
oh, go. I was going to say, I
I'm just
think
gonna say,
there's this, oh, sorry.
go Sam.
Oh, that there's a sense that I didn't know we were talking about girlhood until we were, a third into the poem, because I don't know if it matters so much. I mean, until you get, I mean, it shapes it in a way, but that pre-pubescent girlhood looks a lot just like childhood. And
Yeah.
I think that really is neat to me. And it's neat to me too in a voyeuristic way as a kid who grew up in the middle of the city. So it's a childhood that reminds me of like, Scout from To Kill a Mockingbird or something, more so than the childhoods that I'm familiar with. And I really love that.
Yeah. I was just going to say that I'm really glad that Lisa just said everything that she said because I thought there was an interesting progression there too. I think it's meant to surprise us that it's girlhood. And
Mhm.
I am picturing a kid and wasn't really thinking about a gender, I don't think. I don't think I
Mhm.
was. And then somehow got specific there. But and it also makes me specifically what Lisa was talking about. I question just a bit. I want to drown to be snake-hearted. When we think of snakes, they bring up, I guess the number one connotation is just evil, right? Like, so I was wondering about snake-hearted here.
Mm.
What do you guys make of that?
Really interesting. To me, snake-hearted, I don't necessarily think evil, I just think other. Um, so like exploring what you don't know and embodying what you don't know.
Mhm.
Well,
It makes me think of Annie Dillard's biography about her American childhood, girlhood, and she talks about like diving into the water and like not being conscious of their body. And I feel like a snake, you can also just be one with your body in a way, like it's very linear. And so I feel like it's speaking to, again, this idea of childhood to girlhood to these, we get these short shorts, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
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 mhm.
There's also this sense of shedding your skin, because
Hmm.
there's the skinned or scraped legs, and then we also have the molting, the sunburn. So it's kind of
It's
like
great.
these harms to the body, but they're bearable harms. They're small harms, but they're still, uncovering a new being underneath.
I'd put
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot more
So
emphasis
this is
on
all, sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I'd put a lot more emphasis on I've only got so many days left. I thought that it was much more like a memento mori. I'd somehow after so many years forgotten. I thought it was about kind of an elegy or a sort of facing down the loss of these exciting moments at the same time that it was celebrated. And I thought it was a really interesting calibration of the celebration and the loss.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that there's something here too with almost a shadow image in my brain of like the water rivets looking like snakes and they're kind of disappearing down you, right? So I think that I don't know if that's necessarily evoked here, but it comes up almost as this remnant for the poem for me.
Mm. And I just love it's just purely a sensory piece. You don't have a sense of any individuals in this poem. It really is those kind of tight shots right on, the leg, the water rivulets, and it's just so beautifully done that way.
The sound of thinking.
Hmm. What's fun to think about too are this is kind of lighter references to being bad, to doing that kind of exploration, um, trespassing abandoned homes, great climbing water towers, like when you had that kind of fearlessness as well as the playing of the sprinklers, that age.
Yeah, and you're right, Kathy, and there is also this nod to what's to come, because towards the end of the poem you have um half naked in an embrace, but it's in an embrace with the spray of the irrigation jets, and my kid body good, as in good and sopping wet, so it's kind
Hmm.
of this recognition of innocence and enjoyment in the pleasure of these uh bodily experiences, but there's a nod to what's to come.
Hmm.
Yeah, like an echo forward. It's nicely done. Yeah. Maybe we want to
I
vote.
just do really love that sequence at the end with the my kid body good and sopping wet and hose water rivulets under its pressure. I shed regret, molt sunburn squeal, hallelujah in a hot spell. There's just so much sound work going on there. Like it's really so dense.
Hmm.
And then sweet relief, right? That we move into something a little more lilting, a little less staccato, a little less dense after something like a little more packed in. I really love
Yeah.
that.
I think that circles back to where you started. It's so dense that this really short lines and couplets helps with it, right? Makes it
Yes.
just
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great choice. Well, let's make a choice. Are you guys ready? Because we do have two more by this poet. So, let's do it. Let's
Let's
throw
vote.
thumbs. One, two, three, vote. Boom. Thank you, Alyx Chandler. It's in. Number one is accepted. Love Affair with a Sprinkler. And now we're moving on to Once I Lived in a Town. About you, Jason.
Sure, I can do that. I have a bit of a cold, so I apologize if my voice is a little Lauren Bacall or Kathleen Turner. Once I lived in a town. Once I lived in a town where grocery stores dispensed ammunition from automated machines. All you needed was an ID and license. The sign advertised, but there are ways around that, a cashier told me. Stuff a bulge half cocked in his cheek. But my target? The choose your own adventure bulletin board. If you were brave, you'd let some guy named John shoot you with their dad's old Nikon film camera. Girls only. No tattoos. The ink of the red-lettered flyer bled. Those days I craved someone, anyone, to lock and load my rough-hewn beauty like a cold weapon. ripen the fruit of my teenage face. Save me. Instead, I washed the ad in my too tight jeans, let it dye my pocket grapefruit pink. Once I lived in a town where daily I wore a necklace with a dragonfly wing cured in resin, gifted from a lover, a lifelong bug hater. Love can live in the crevice of disgust, I found, but lost it within the swaths of poison oak, where I shot my first bullet into wide open sky and felt death echo its curious desire, automatic as the gun's kickback. My legs mottled in a pocked rash. Then a hole I didn't know existed. A souring, bitter and salt, the only taste craved, a rotten smell in the fried fatback I ate. Once I lived in a town where the first boy I kissed in the wreathed doorway of my childhood home left Earth too soon from a single shot. I can't ask, is this what the military taught him? I only know the cruel way high school relationships end. 5-word text, then never again. His fine line dragon doodles and I love you notes still in my Converse shoebox in an attic, 12 years untouched. I once lived in a town where obits never contained the word suicide. Everyone is a child of Christ, and I mean everyone, our pastor used to say, a joke staining his sincerity. God, how I undercompensate. Use safety pins for my grief when I need weapons-grade resistance, a cast iron heart. I once lived in a town where I found a primed handgun under the bed of a boy I cheated with. Delirious, I buried it in a dumpster until he cried that it was his great-grandfather's, an heirloom he couldn't forget or forgive, and after that, I never saw him again. I didn't have the language to ask him what I needed to know. Prozac newly wired in my brain, a secret I could barely contain. Once, I crushed my trigger finger between the door of who I wanted to be and who I actually was. Let that town press me like a camellia between a book, inadequate as a cartoon-decorated Band-Aid trying to stop the blood flow from a near-miss bullet.
Oh, flawless. Beautiful.
Wow.
It's great. It is very, very dense, but it's so satisfying.
Yeah, you thought the other one was dense. My goodness. A
Yeah,
lot
of different
goes on.
densities. And this one has a much longer line, so the syntax can build to a much greater complexity across the individual line. Like the parsing, I mean, one of the things I really respect about these poems is that the line is shaped to the phrase and the phrase is shaped to the line. And so with the longer line, everything can kind of build up into a much greater complexity. Um, I don't want to say hypotaxis, but I will. But the syntactic complexity and the subordination is able to kind of take on a lot of weight without ever losing us.
Yeah, I have to say that this is one of my favorite narrative poems I've read through PBQ in a long time. I think that it manages to take on a tough topic without being didactic. I think it has a lot of wonderful images, particularly how that ad, diffuses into grapefruit colored ink, which I think most of us are probably familiar with. I also love that this is the speaker's story is one about someone who doesn't leave. So many, I think, of our great prose stories, not just in America, but kind of across the world. It's the one who leaves who tells the story. And that's not necessarily what's happening here, even though it is I once lived.
Oh, I appreciate all of that, Sam, and I so agree. I was just so pulled through with the storytelling that was happening here. And part of the reason why I think it's so successful is that it uses image so beautifully, and there's just like a little twist on things because you think sticking with the idea of guns and triggers and all of that, you don't expect something new, but the line, once I crushed my trigger finger between the door of who I wanted to be and who I actually was, I was just like, oh wow, like I feel like I've never heard that before. That's just fantastic.
And also to add to that, Dagne, it also nods to this sense of safety, like the double meaning of the word safety with the safety of the guns and
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
It becomes such a palimpsest as you keep going, like the towns kind of layered onto each other, but all of them with this similar connection to this very specific kind of violence that she is so in tune with and attached to and outside of and rejecting. It has this kind of fractal-like quality where you just kind of keep approaching it from all these different directions, but finding the exact same shape, although with difference.
Mm, that's interesting. I love the repetition of once I lived in a town, but I
Yeah.
believed it was all one town. And I hear that
Oh,
you read it as every time she said it being a new town. I thought it
yeah.
was the same town and
Me
was just
too.
repeating it. Yeah.
Me too,
Yeah.
Kathy. I think it's the same town.
Oh, interesting.
She does seem more stuck. Like there's something about it that I do feel like it's one town. But if we're, can we get literal for a second, just because so much of this is so easy to, air quote, understand and is so like truly a narrative. I'm wondering if anybody could help me with toward the bottom of the first page. So maybe eighth, ninth stanza down. Where I shot my first bullet into a wide open sky and felt death echo its curious desire automatic as the guns kicked back. My legs mottled in pocked rash. Then a hole I didn't know existed. A souring, bitter and salt the only taste craved. A rotten smell in the fried fatback I ate. What happens there? What's the hole I didn't know existed? And then connecting it to a souring.
For me, I can only think about like the times that myself like I've said something mean or cruel and that opens up something in you because I have not shot a gun ever. And I feel like shooting a gun maybe opens up something too that you kind of have this power to unleash. So I read it that way.
I agree, Sam. I think there is a nod to something maybe a little bit sexual there, and it is kind of like, I don't know, losing your virginity of have you shot a gun or not shot a gun, which seems like it would be in this community a very um foundational experience, you know? So
Mm-hmm,
it's
mm-hmm.
like once you've done that, you can't go back, right? You're
Yeah.
part of the
Gotcha.
gun shooters.
Yeah, that's so right. That's kind of what I was feeling. I just was curious of what you guys thought. Thank
I
you
thought
for
that was
that.
a pregnancy.
Hmm.
The weird
What?
tastes and flavors and sort of having the body become strange. I think I have been less pregnant than anyone in the room, so I refer to everyone else on the experience of pregnancy.
Wow, that's quite a read. And I get it. I hear what you're saying. I don't see any other evidence, textual evidence for that. But the food stuff is actually more so than a hole I didn't know
Hmm.
existed. That doesn't make me think of pregnancy. But the food stuff does. Like, things being cravings and things not tasting the way they usually do.
And then it goes
I
right
love,
into kissing the boy.
yeah,
Oh.
exactly. And I love that this whole piece can be interrogated like this and that we can be wondering all these layers.
Right, but then, yeah, I think I would argue against the pregnancy though, Jason, because of the boy kissing the boy coming
Yeah.
afterwards, and it's so innocent. I kissed in the wreathed doorway of my childhood home. Boy, the boy, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
What I mean,
yeah,
as you point out, there's just not a lot to go on. That the whole
yeah.
is it physical and she fell in? Is it metaphorical and it's a, experience? And then, the only thing we have is the taste and smell changing before we move on to the next
Mm-hmm.
town or the
Mm-hmm.
next
Yeah.
image from the town.
Yeah.
But earlier we do have that I mean before the kissing in the doorway, we have the gift from the lover, which is the single dragonfly wing, and that the speaker is wearing too tight jeans. So who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
So we could
Yeah,
be
and
flipping.
flirting with the idea of getting photographs taken too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So we
love the choose your
looking
own
around.
adventure bulletin board. I love that phrase.
Well,
The choose
I
your own
was
adventure
shocked.
bulletin board.
I was shocked that the choose your own adventure bulletin board, which sounded so 70s to me, could coexist with the 5-line text, which sounded so like 2010s. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there's like a weird palimpsest of my like expectations for technologies, right? I mean, like the bulletin board where you find people to provide you services is so like,
I think they still
hasn't no one done
exist,
that since like
Jason.
we started
They,
panicking about hitchhiking in the 1980s?
Yeah.
I
they
think
do
different
exist in
places have
pockets.
live in different time
Yeah,
periods.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of evoke this small town grocery store. Is it a grocery store? Or do we know where it is?
So it's
Store.
funny,
Yeah, it is a grocery store. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
but
that,
I revised my speaker from being like someone in their 60s to someone in their like 20s. Like, oh,
right. Actually, they also say their love letters 12 years untouched. So
yeah.
that's not that long either, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, I think there are still bulletin boards. The first
I
one that
live in
comes
a
to my mind
small
is
town. We have our
yeah,
bulletin boards
You have
totally.
bulletin
yeah.
boards.
Yeah.
Actually,
Don't you
ironically,
think
I live
someone's
in a
gonna
small,
kill you? Like, why would you like,
you know what? I live in a small town, but where the first bulletin board that came to mind is in like a big grocery store near me. And they really
Mm.
do still have like dog walking and you can pull off the slip
oh,
and like here, this is like flyers for events happening and yeah, it's a big bulletin board in the
yeah.
grocery
You know what?
store.
Actually, now that there was a bulletin board in Scotland in the community center
Hmm.
when I went to the craft fair in the community center in like the Orkney Islands, and there was definitely a
I
bulletin board.
guarantee you that you're going to see
Yeah,
bulletin boards for the
I will
Yeah.
next
see bulletin boards from now
5
on. Yeah.
years.
I'll clip the you print the phone number sideways and then
Yeah,
put
yeah,
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 sideways
yeah.
letters so
exactly.
you can pull off the number.
You're going to see
And
bulletin
I
boards all
personally
over
would
New York.
much rather more bulletin boards than more screens. I just hate them everywhere in hallways, in
Yeah.
my building
Yeah,
towers, lobby. I'm just so over them.
yeah.
Rather see something tactile. Yeah.
Well, all of our screens get like I don't know, like we've replaced
Yeah.
all of our posters and billboards in New York with screens in the MTA, and
Yeah.
people just punch them out. Like everything's broken. Like I mean, someone comes through with a hammer and like just wails
Mhm.
on the screens. Which,
Yeah.
like no matter how much graffiti you have on a billboard, you can put another one over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have really enjoyed, Jason, though, the poetry in motion
Oh, it's so
on the
nice. Yeah.
subways. That's really
Beneficial.
marvelous. And I noticed those are the least graffitied uh
Yeah.
Yeah.
elements on the
Yeah.
subway. People seem to respect them well enough to leave them
What
alone.
about that
It's
too?
true.
It's wild. They just don't get messed up. Yeah. Yeah.
We have the poetry in DC at some metro stations, and it's like a projector.
Oh.
So that's
Oh.
really cool because it's just the wall, right?
Mm.
So it can entice antisocial behavior.
That's an interesting idea.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love
Well, the
that
DC
idea.
Metro is like being in the Batcave. Like, I mean, it's such a sort of amazing space.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can I bring it back to the poem by
Sure.
saying I
Why would
love
you do that? Yeah.
I
Sorry.
love I'm always the one that takes
Sorry.
it away, so bringing it back.
We are on a
Um,
podcast. Yeah. Go ahead.
I really love where this ends. I really, really love it. And usually, I resist any kind of like corn, I let that town press me like a camellia between a book. That did make me start to go, oh, wince, wince, but then inadequate as a cartoon decorated band-aid, trying to stop the blood flow from a near miss bullet. So many images, the density of all of that. But I got that satisfying, like chest to the heart, fist to the heart moment at that ending.
Yeah, this poem kind of deserves that too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to call out
Awesome.
quickly, Lisa mentioned the dragonfly wing cured in resin earlier in the poem, and I just wanted to
Yeah.
say, I love the kind of seesaw motion of gifted from a lover, a lifelong bug hater. I love the opposites that that get kind of shoehorned in there. It's beautiful.
But also the notion of stopping flight, right? Like
Mhm.
one wing trapped in
Yeah.
resin, you can't get out, right? The
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's embodied hate right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should probably vote because then I think we were going to be
Yeah, we
losing.
have one more
Oh, yeah.
shorter than the other two, but let's do
Yeah.
it.
Let's do
All
it.
right.
Thumbs up.
One, one, two, three, vote. I was giggling because it was kind of obvious.
Yeah. Not much
I know.
suspense. I'm sorry.
So much
Kind of
tension.
obvious. I was thinking, do we even need to vote? Okay, so we've got one more. The brooder. It's shorter than the others, and there are line breaks in the middle of line. I mean, I'm sorry, white space in the middle of lines. So slushies, if you're going to look, this is one of the ones that you should probably go look at, pbqmag.org. Okay, Lisa, you ready?
I'm ready. Am I being voluntold?
I think you are. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. The brooder. Beneath nest boxes, a squawk sinks out, so docile it turns me over. Both startles and settles me. This sudden bird brain, how domestication is a brawl inside me. The cockatrice papering my chicken heart with pockets of wire. I peel back its cuticle, remove the bloom to clean the coop, and find a little yolkless moon, an eyeball I push open and memorize, then chuck over my roof until a hen digs a crack with her beak, breaks speckled curtains of turquoise, consumes her newest creation without pity or pause.
Oh, lovely. The sound work again. It's wonderful.
So the
Wow.
hen eats the chick, right?
Yeah.
Like new chick is born and the hen just eats it.
Is it the chick or the
I think it's
egg?
pre-chick. It's the egg.
Okay.
Yeah, Dagne, you are our resident chicken expert, correct?
Yeah, and they'll do that. They'll eat their eggs. Yep. Yeah.
Wait,
And
why did they do that?
once they get a taste for it, well, chickens
Oh,
will eat anything. They'll eat each other if you give them the opportunity to. And I always liken them to zombies, both for how they move through the world, but also because they will just, yeah, they'll just do that. They would gnaw
yeah.
at each other. Yeah.
So you have to, is that why you have to get them first thing in the morning? Do they not realize
Yeah,
they're under? Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Because
Oh,
if a hen gets a taste for it, then you're in
yeah.
trouble. So you really want to break that cycle, the possibility of that cycle, and just kind of move them along, let them go out and do other things.
Well, you grab all their eggs.
While
Wow,
you grab
wow.
their eggs. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it true that they're pretty stupid?
Oh yeah. Fantastically
Yeah.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The dark side of
But I
chickens.
love
Who
them.
knew? Okay.
And we get the
Okay.
cockatrice in here, a mythical creature, combination of a rooster. I had to look it up to remind myself, a combination of a rooster and a serpent or lizard.
What?
Yeah, so I came across cockatrice and I was like, wait a minute. I feel like that's something I know, but I'm not sure. I don't think I do. And so yeah, I looked that up. So we get this mythical creature inserted here.
Yeah. It's like the
And that's what's
Lamassu.
inside her. What's inside her?
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's like the Lamassu of like the poultry world. Like I feel like I was like with this chicken heart. It pushed me a little bit out for a minute because I'm not sure what we're trying to do here with like the actual hen and chicken eggs, and then the speaker also has a chicken heart. These are different things, right?
They are different things. And Sam, I must admit, I share some confusion with this piece. And I'm a little bit at odds with myself because as I said at the start, I love the sound work in here so much. And there are some things in here that are very real, that ring very true around chickens. But there is this like this dual narrative or theme that's running through here, and I'm not sure about what it is. So I share that.
Dagne, is that around I peel back its cuticle, remove the bloom? Is that where your confusion is happening? 'Cause
Well,
that's where I am confused. I'm not quite
yeah,
sure what's happening
absolutely.
there.
Because before that, it was very much around, the speaker's own bird brain and so on. Yeah. And
Is
then
there, I'm thinking of cuticle as like cuticle of a nail. Is there a cuticle in chicken tending?
there must be. It's not a
Okay.
term that I know.
Okay.
I'll be
Okay.
completely honest. It's somehow in my chicken education, it's a term I've skipped over.
Is there, is
The way
there,
in which,
Possible.
like, when you're peeling an egg, there's that extra membrane
Yeah,
under
maybe
yeah,
that's
the
called the
shell. I thought
cuticle.
that was the
It
cuticle,
it's not the
yeah.
like the
term I've ever
cuticle.
used.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
But
thought the
I
same
was
thing as
confused by
Jason.
how the egg gets thrown over the roof and is then still like intact enough to eat.
Yeah. I thought
That
the
was sounds like
eyeball
cuticle.
and the cuticle and all of that was just the egg, right? And that she was just
Right.
using the word cuticle so that we would all get it, like that kind of opaque flesh, like somewhat thick, but you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
saw it. But I did have that same question as Jason. Why the speaker just throws it away and that maybe it wasn't formed even enough to be an egg. I don't really know why she throws it over her roof, but then the
I
hen
mean,
still gets it.
if you find a bad egg, like I have flung them into a field. I've done that because you just do want to get rid of it. But I agree that there's a disconnect here between, is it the one that's flung that the hen finds, or is it another egg, right? Because that's a possibility too.
Yeah, I'm confused there too, because I thought the egg was chucked, and then when the hen comes back and eats it, I'm like, wait a minute, I thought that egg was chucked over the roof.
So I feel like we're
Hmm.
actually talking about different eggs, but it does introduce confusion, which
Well,
is
because
yeah.
until a hen, right? The until is what makes us think it's the same egg.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally see that, Kathy. I totally see
Yeah.
that. And it's unexpected because like the previous two poems, there was, for me, never any confusion. They were just so, whereas here I'm just like, I keep kind of like picking it up and turning it over. I also wanted to say that opening line flat-footed me right from the start. Beneath nest boxes, a squawk sinks out. That out really just made me go, I don't know. I would have been more comfortable with just beneath nest boxes, a squawk sinks, or a different way of saying that, you hear this squawk. Sinks out was just really awkward for me. And so right at the start, I was kind of, yeah, wrong-footed.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do you think we're supposed to see those little steps like sinking? They remind me of like boarding a ship, right? Like
The gangplank.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
Yeah. Right, Sam. Yeah.
Yeah. So Slushies, Sam is talking about the lines here, which we have in the stanzas, there are pauses in midline in in all of the stanzas. So
Mhm.
it does look like there could be steps cascading down the poem.
Yeah, it's an interesting observation because why are they here otherwise? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying this is a good one to go look at. It's
Yeah. And I just
mm,
want to go right back one more time to the point of confusion in that third stanza. Do we think like there is supposed to be some symbiotic relationship then between the speaker and the chickens, as we discussed earlier, or we're using chicken heart as in like a scaredy cat kind of way?
my
Like,
read, Sam, was that
mhm,
all of it to me, so much is how domestication is a brawl inside me. I think
okay.
that's the answer to a lot of this.
Hmm.
Like that you have to be able to throw these chicken eggs over the house and accept that chickens are going to eat their own young. Like there's a lot of it's tough, right? It's hard to watch
Hmm.
nature be itself, right? So I think that's the battle is
Mhm.
the speaker having to deal with the reality of how nature behaves.
Yeah, I
And
think
are
that
we
makes sense.
also, sorry,
Mhm.
Sam.
No, I was just going to say, I think that makes sense. And then what I think is an interesting tension in this poem is I almost just want this to be like an imagist poem. Like I love like the idea of kind of like learning and understanding these chickens, but I feel a little overwhelmed by trying to make sense of like the message, I guess.
Yeah. So you were hoping for maybe a pure lyric instead of the narrative section. Yeah.
Because the narrative is definitely tripping us up. Because I'm also wondering if domestication being a brawl is also a reference to like female domestication within a household, right?
Mhm.
So I didn't know if there was another layer there or not.
Especially if you're armoring your heart with wire, and becoming a
Exactly.
mythical creature. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on the time, my friends. I know
Yeah,
we're going to lose Jason.
Uh,
yeah,
Should we go ahead and vote on this
yeah. I think we
poem?
should
I think
probably.
we can. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Are we ready?
Thumbs up.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Oh,
Okay.
alas.
2 out of 3 for
2 out of 3.
Alex.
Woo.
So thank you so much. We've accepted oh,
Two
my
poems.
love affair with a sprinkler, and Once I Lived in a Town. And we're so grateful that Alex allowed us to read these poems here for you today. And so excited that you tuned in to hear us talk about them. Please let us know how we're doing. Anybody have anything else to say?
Nope.
Okay, then keep reading, everybody. Thanks.
Ciao.